Thank you for coming on the show today.
Yep.
What's good, y'all? There's a loud ass plane in the background, so if I start screaming every once in a while, just know that that's why. Welcome back to the 8th Dimension podcast. It's been quite a long time since I filmed an episode with somebody and got a camera and just talked in front of it, so I'm excited to get back going on this thing and get some interesting people for y'all to hear about. And today I got my best friend, Punter. He's an amazing human being, one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. He's was an ex-pro punter, played football with me at UW, an awesome artist, has a clothing brand called Heart on My Sleeve that I should be wearing. I don't know why I'm not wearing it right now. I got the shoes on.
Yeah, you're wearing it.
That's going to take over the world at some point, and right now he's on his way to becoming a pro golfer, so he's dabbled in a lot of different things in life and avenues, and he's killed it in everything, so I know that he's going to kill it on his next step in life, and just excited to have you here, man.
Thanks, man.
How's your time been in LA so far?
Great. It was supposed to be 3 days. Extended it to 5 days, extended it to 8 days, so
yes, sir.
It's easy to get stuck in LA for sure.
Sounds like me in Aspen a couple weeks ago. I was supposed to be there for 3 days and ended up staying for a week and a half and crashing the rental whip and just being an idiot, so shit happens. Yeah. It's always a great time.
That's life.
Yeah, so let's get back into your backstory, your origin story, the lore of Race Punter. We know you're from Seattle, you're the athlete, and been just a gifted athlete your whole life, but tell us a little bit about how you were raised and like what led you down the path of sports growing up.
I was raised with a lot of love from both my parents, my big sister too. Very grateful for them, but I would say definitely focus was always on sports growing up. School was fun, but I was definitely always motivated by that, and that kind of shaped my childhood. My family definitely has a history of sports, so that was a ton of fun, but my parents raised me really well. I could think of how I got my like creative side. My mom in my lunch boxes, I had this little secret compartment, and she used to always like color a napkin, a whole napkin with a drawing. It could be like Pokemon or me high jumping over the bar. She did it all the way through high school. So, you know, to have that influence as well. I'm kind of reflecting right now, thinking about that. I haven't thought of that in a while. But yeah, I was raised, you know, from all angles and grew up in Seattle, so that shaped me. I definitely always loved coming down to Cali. Yeah. It's a fun, you know, at the end of the day, we're so similar, you and me, but we're from different areas. Like the core of our personalities, I think, are shaped by that, which is probably the root of our main differences, which is why we get along so well. And I got a question for you.
All right.
How was living in Seattle?
Honestly, I love Seattle. Seattle's an amazing place. I think on a sunny day, it's the most beautiful place in the world, or at least the U.S., because I haven't seen much of the world yet. Yeah. But from what I've gotten experience, Seattle is an amazing place. There's mountains everywhere you look, 360 degrees. There's water everywhere. The air is fresh. You hop off the plane in Seattle. That was the first thing that actually made me want to go to UW was hopping off the plane, and the crisp, cold air just tasted so fucking amazing to breathe. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can breathe right now for the first time in my life. Yeah. Which is pretty dumb. Like,
I feel you.
It's just so green, and there's so many trees out there, and the people are all cool. It's a very laid back city and vibes. But I guess if I didn't go to Seattle, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met my best friend and other people that turned out to be my best friends in life as well. And so it's just an amazing place that I hold dear to my heart, and it's always going to be home, like my home away from home, which is awesome. And yeah, I really can't believe sometimes now I'm thinking about it that I really was living there for 6 years and just on my own, and it was the most growing time of my life, just figuring out how to balance the mental side of just being able to take care of like myself as like my own human being, to like understand myself as well. So Seattle is like the roadmap of me finding myself, I guess. So that's why it's a cool place.
I like that. I can think of everything from La Push Beach drives to what's the park in Bainbridge, the dirt bike path.
Port Gamble.
Port Gamble, seeing you flying like 40 feet in the air.
Yeah, if you want to learn how to mountain bike or do anything on dirt, just go to Seattle and just go on a hill and ride down it, because there'll probably be 400 billion mountain bike trails on it. But yeah, so tell me what the process of being a walk-on at UW and then working your way up to a scholarship. I don't know if you guys know this guy. Like, I mean, he's a punter, which is like usually in football, like they're not as like respected. They're not really like, some people would look at him like on the team and be like, oh, like he's not really gonna be my homie because he just punts the ball or whatever. But this guy right here, I kid you not, he used to give me shit all the fucking time for it, because I be in workouts doing conditioning. I hated conditioning. I hate running, even though I'm fast, and that's my greatest attribute, is just running fast. This guy was literally a long distance track runner that should be in the fucking Olympics, because he was finishing first in every every conditioning event that we had. And I knew he was doing it for himself, and he wanted to be better because he's just that type of guy. But he also, I know, wanted to gain the respect of everybody else on the team, and he sure as hell did. I mean, he was out there at 6 a.m., kind of like the weather's like this, but we're in Cali, so it's still 60 degrees. But in Seattle, it's like high 30s, low 40s. We're out just grinding in the morning, just all hating that shit. And he's over here, let's go, come on, y'all, like just screaming all the time, and it was lit. And it turned me into a leader that the team needed as well, because he inspired me to get there. And it's cool just coming from somebody who's just plays a completely different position and role on the team, and in that type of atmosphere. So yeah, tell us about the journey to getting that Scully.
Well, thank you. That's quite the introduction. I appreciate it. I would say the coolest thing about being a walk-on was the first couple weeks of meeting like you. And, you know, I came in, I didn't have Leap, I didn't meet up with anyone. I was just this rogue kind of random dude. I didn't even start. So little known fact that I love about my UW story, the first game ever of my career, the first season I played, I watched it from the stands. So like I was on the team, but since I was an invited walk-on.
Yeah. They didn't let you suit up for the games?
They didn't let me in the locker room until after the first game. So like for me it was like, I'm not gonna say hard because it's a loving brotherhood and community, but like I went in there knowing no one at all, other than Miles. But from my own class. And
so
like,
I just sounded super weird. I was like, what is
crazy.
that?
The birds are going.
I just hope they don't poop, but if they do, at least you guys will get to see me get shit on.
It's good luck. But nah, man, it was just fun. It was cool to meet you guys. Like, it was so new to me, and football was new to me. But like, I had an idea of what it would be like, but I quickly realized how serious I had to take it. Like how if you're not putting 100% of your energy towards it, someone else will. And they preached that. Coach Pete was running a great program, and all this stuff about the culture and Built for Life, you know, really hit home with me right away. And so I took it to heart, and I filled my notebooks up from the jump. I remember that. I was just like, I got to soak in everything I can. I'm astounded to even be in these seats, let alone, you know, be a part of it and get to wear the W. But I was like, there's so many people in this area that I can learn from right away. And that was like my main mindset from the jump. And it was hard. You know, I remember first year, scout team, having no confidence. You know, I remember I'd black out, my hands would be shaking, I'd hit a terrible punt, and I'd be like, I don't even remember catching the ball. And then Coach Pete standing right behind me, yelling at me like, you're wasting the rep, and it got hectic. But at the same time, those are the moments that really shape you. And you know, I remember there'd be games when I was playing, and I was like, this is nothing. This shit is nothing compared to Coach Pete right there. Like, you just fucked up. You gotta make something happen. And so, I'm grateful for all those times and those moments. That's what shapes you. And the freshman workouts, in a lot of ways, our freshman year, Locos Perros, our lift group, like that's the hardest moments of my life. If I really thought about it, those finishers, like some of those things we did, and that'll really shape the way you look at life. And if you can get through that stuff and you got some guys that you can lean on, like you were saying earlier, that's what gives you the motivation. And
yeah, bro. I mean, half the time during finishers, there's times where you're like, holy shit, bro. And then you look to your left and your right and you see your brothers and they're all suffering, making the same faces, some of them almost like teary-eyed. We got a little homie pulling up. Oh. Hey. Get him the shot, come on. What's up, buddy? Hey. He don't fuck with me.
Hey.
Guess I gotta go jump in the water and drown myself. But yeah, like in the middle of a workout, I'm huffing and puffing. I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I can make it through today. And then I look at like some fat ass on the team doing the same shit. And I'm like, bro, if these fat ass motherfuckers doing this, what am I talking about? And then we got dudes like in the middle of conditioning while they're running, throwing up on the side, like while they're running, because if you miss the rep or we miss the time that we have to be in back to the line in, then the whole team has to do it over. So dudes are like literally sprinting and throwing up at the same time.
You see some crazy stuff.
And it's just like, being able to do that with people and like suffer together just makes everything so much better. It makes like the suffering like all worth it, because like you have a band of brothers that you went through hell with, and it's just like forever. Like no matter what, you always have that connection and just be connected to those people because you went through hell together. And I guess that's kind of just like football in general. It's not hell, but it's so much work that it builds the closest bonds that you could ever have, like in a team atmosphere and in a team sport, because you're really relying on 10 other guys on every play. It's the greatest team sport ever, and everybody from the training staff to the coaching staff to the strength and conditioning staff to everybody, they all play a role, and they all have to be on their P's and Q's for us to be successful. And it's just like an amazing thing to witness and be a part of and just learn from, because then you understand how to work good as a team just going forward in life. And just have to give football like all the credit for making me a people person and just kind of teaching me all my life lessons, because I feel like I'd be lost realistically if I didn't get to do those things. And yeah, I mean, I was a punter in high school because we did like rugby punts, kind of how we did it.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I was never nervous when I was back there about to get a handoff ever in my life. But standing back there to catch a snap and to get ready to punt it before every snap, I'm like, I was legs shaking. I'm like, holy shit, bro. Like, I better kick the shit out this ball fast. And somehow it's just nerve-wracking as hell. And he's got the little coffin tatted on his kicking leg, because this guy was literally a pro punter, so he can punt it wherever he wants. And now he's hitting golf balls wherever he wants because he's about to be a pro golfer, which is lit. We'll get into that in a little. But yeah, so that's awesome, bro. I'm glad that out of all the billions of years this planet's been formed for, just humanity, that we got to go through that UW shit together.
Yeah.
And hell yeah. So yeah, tell us, I mean, how was going pro in football and then realizing that that's not what you want to do, and then now you're on the path to being a pro golfer and a Masters champion and the best ever, putting that into the universe, because we'll come back to this video when he's wearing a green jacket and we'll be like, I told you so. But yeah, let us know how that came to be and how it's going.
It's going really well. So I would say my experience with football was such an amazing one. But I remember earlier on at some of our hotel stays with UW, they would bring some of the pro guys back. I'm sure you remember some of those conversations we had, and a few of the guys would always say, like, enjoy this because it's not like that at the next level.
Yeah.
It's a business. There's no brotherhood, all that. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, interesting. And then when I got there, I realized it's a business. And I felt like Coach Pete, all the coaches, Coach Lake I had at UW taught me how to like manage and organize a team, as well as running my business, which we'll get into as well. But after 5 years of it, 6 years of it, and then going to the pros and seeing that it's all the same at that level as it is in college, the team structure, the dynamic of how the business operates is all the same. I said, I'm ready to have my own business, be my own CEO. And I didn't feel like I was able to do that. Me personally, what motivates me, what drives me, didn't feel maximized by being a team member. I want to be the proprietor, the sole owner of kind of my dreams, my fate, and certainly my job, my profession, which is what that is at the end of the day. And so, yeah, I said, cool, I had this experience, it was fun. I got to see Texas a little bit. You know, that always brings perspective. Shout out to the Roughnecks. That was a fun time. And then, yeah, I had conversations with my dad, with my family throughout the whole season, and just kind of explaining to them, because, you know, I get a job, I'm working down a career path that has been going well so far. And it's no different than any other job. And I say, yeah, I want to switch it up completely, and go total different industry, different business altogether. And so it took a while for them to kind of understand it and see it from my perspective, which, you know, I'm grateful that they can at this point. Like, they're very aligned with me now, and they see the dream and the vision. But I was playing golf my whole life, and you know, I can really trace it back to a conversation I had with Novel. I think I've told you this when I was getting tatted. It was probably about a year ago, right before I was going out to Houston, and he said, man, when are you gonna start playing golf? And I was like, what are you talking about? How do you even know that I golf? Like, he's like, that dude Sean told me, and it just clicked. Again, it's not even like you know, oh my God, he said that. It was just such a quick little moment, and it just was so simple, it clicked, and I was like, yeah, that's right away, just that feels right in my soul, in my intuition. And then I ran with it, and when you follow your personal legend, your heart's, you know, ultimate passion, alchemist, everyone talks about it in a different way, things start aligning, and sequences start happening, and then this beautiful unfolding of events in the direction of all your dreams and the path that you have laid out for yourself is like all you want in life after that, for me personally. And that's what golf feels like, and that's what I want. You know, to know what it feels like to be following your passion to the fullest degree and know that it's what you were born to do makes life the easiest thing it could possibly be. And so my goal, because for me it was like so easy to figure it out. I was like, okay, sports, yes, but which sport? Bam. 25 years old, I found it. I want other people to be able to find it like that. And I think that's how we can change the world, is if we can facilitate an environment for kids to be like, I want this, like, and parents just to show them the
people
feeling.
to do what they actually feel passionate about.
Yes.
And it's like, it's tough because money runs the world, and a lot of passions don't pay the bills.
Yeah.
So it's harder for people to get into that space to where they can really freely explore their like true love. But that's only if you care about money realistically, because you can do anything that you want without it pretty much, if you just find a way and figure it out, if it's really something you're passionate about. That's dope as hell. I mean, you doing that inspired me for me to break free from that cycle of ball and getting away from the game, and like exploring my own passions and like what I love to do, and like not being sorry about choosing a different like life trajectory, because I kind of did the same thing. Lived with you this past year, and in Seattle for 8 months. Went to commercial diving school, and finished diving school, and then broke my thumb, and then was out for a month and a half, 2 months, and then found some other business opportunities in that meantime while I had a job lined up in New Orleans where I was supposed to go to. And like seeing you like just say fuck it and go after your dreams, and inspired me to just say fuck it and like, you know what, I just want to do this and ride dirt bikes, ride my mountain bike, and have as much time for that, and just enough free time to explore my mind and all the options that I can go down in life. And like you and Navo are like the main people that have helped me break free from the general matrix. I always felt like I was broken free from it, but the game of football and school and the like normal way of, I guess I say that's the normal way of life because that's like what I always thought was the normal way of life. But now I've broken free from that, open-minded thanks to you and Navo and people just believing in me outside of my athletic abilities. So he's one of the most inspirational people to me, so it's cool to sit down with him and talk about this shit. And yeah, even with the Ham stuff, like when he started the clothing brand, just another inspiring moment in time to like see you like translate like pain, sadness, and confusion into artwork that makes people smile. And so yeah, tell us about the backstory and the heart of my sleeve and where it comes from. Even though I already know what it is.
The heart of my sleeve. Yeah, bro. I was just making shirts in my room. I was sad as fuck. I've been telling it. I've told the story so many times. I'm gonna try to like spin it a little different this time.
Cause you don't got to have a filter now.
Sad as fuck, mad as fuck, listening to sad songs all day in my room. I remember I would click the same little sad ass playlist every morning on the way to see Tim Saha and hate my life, lifting weights at UW.
Tim Saha.
Shout out to Coach Saha.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Saha. I hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah, for real.
I know you're never gonna watch this.
But if you do, we love you. So yeah, bro, you know, I was just in a really dark space, and school wasn't fun. Football, I sucked. I had been dealing with a breakup, feelings all over the place, feeling like a shell of myself, and started doodling in my notebooks when I would drift off in class, and was loving drawing hearts. I'd draw broken hearts. It was like my favorite thing to do. And then one thing led to another. I come across this phrase, heart on my sleeve. I'd heard it before. I really like look at it though, and I write it down a few times, and I like writing it down, and I'm drawing hearts around when I'm taking notes in class. And then I have this conversation with my dad. I tell him I'm depressed, like for real. And it was the first time I really told him that to his face. And we were at dinner, Italian restaurant in Seattle. And I broke down. He was like, it's totally okay. I support you through this. It was just like this really cool moment to know we were on the same page about it for the first time in my life. And I felt like I could do something about it after that. Because he was like, well, let's do something about it. It was like him that motivated me. Like you said, inspiration comes from a lot of places. I got inspiration just from him telling me it was okay. He didn't have to tell me, fix my problems, just saying like, all right, I'm here for you.
Instead of like, I saw something the other day, it's kind of like it's about like relationships, but anytime somebody's going through something, like you can ask them, do you want solutions or do you want like somebody to lean on?
Support,
yeah. And like, that's dope that the support that you needed, he gave it to you, and then it turned into like a beautiful creation.
Yeah. The support became the solution.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
So yeah, beautiful moment, and I finally go, okay, I'm doing something about this, and I've been writing heart on my sleeve for a while in my notebooks, and I was like, let's do heart on my sleeve. Let's physically create heart on my sleeve. Like, it's simple. I said, I got white t-shirts and black t-shirts, blanks. And selfishly, I was like, I was thinking of fashion. I'm always thinking of fashion. Like, I've always been interested in fashion. And at that time in my life, I was interested in wearing shirts that maximize your potential of wearing them with different outfits. So a plain white t-shirt and a plain black t-shirt are the best possible thing for that. You can wear it with anything. I went to a fabric store. I found iron-on hearts. I went back.
Yeah, the patches.
Yeah, the patches. The OG patches.
The OG Gasworks. E3 photo shoot.
The E3 Yank Off special. I think shout out to B. Welly.
Yank Off's the last name, by the way, not jerking off.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Bachelia down in Arizona. Who else was in that photo shoot? Someone. Oh well. Yes, the OG patches. I went home. I went to my dad's house. I got the iron. I went back to my apartment and I ironed it onto the sleeve. Thus, Homs was created and born in my apartment room with the white t-shirt and an iron-on patch. And I wore it for a while, and I was loving it. But I was still a little sad about stuff. And so I was like, how can I maximize this other heart? There was another one, so I'm like, what can I do with this? Like, do I just put it on the black one? It didn't feel right. And I got the idea to cut it in half and make it a broken one, and I put that one on the black one. That was my sad shirt. So I had a happy shirt, a sad shirt, and when I put them on in the morning, I felt like I was like wearing what I was in the moment. And even just that little like concept for me driving, I'm like, oh, I'm sad today. I'm accepting it, I'm acknowledging it. So then it's not like hitting me out of nowhere. Yeah. Plus, I was getting mentions at the stadium in the locker room from my friends, from you, from all different types of people. What's the deal with the shirt? I remember Alex Cook, shout out to AC, was one of the first conversations I had about it. He just asked about it. He asked how I was doing, if I'm doing all right. And then he said, I'm here for you if you need to talk about anything. Bam. Simple little like 2-minute interaction. Made all the difference for me. And I was like, okay, if I can have this type of interaction, maybe other people could benefit from this. And around that same time I was thinking those possibilities, people started asking me for shirts. Can you make me one? So easy. I go, buy, boom, boom, done. And I was just handing them out for free at first. I was like, nah, bro, don't worry about it. It just felt like good energy.
This boy was the ultimate free drip plug.
Yeah, you know.
The freest, craziest drip you could ever get in your life.
So free every time. And you know, me and my dad butted heads on that. But anyway, so I started making all my friends stuff, handing it out. And then it was when their friends wanted stuff. I was like, I don't have a personal tie to them. This is looking more like a business now. So I got my LLC, Homs, Seattle, born in the real world. And so from there, it's just building a business, growing it like anything else. But I think the thing that always set me apart in terms of like how I design clothes is I'm always trying to push it forward. I'm looking for the best items you could wear in the world. Because why wouldn't you? If you have a brand, if you have a business, if you're representing yourself through a medium that other people interact with, why wouldn't you want it to be the best they've ever interacted with? And that's always been my deep-rooted sentiment towards designing clothes. It's like a responsibility I have. If people are going to pay for something I create, I want it to be the best they could possibly buy. And so I think that really shaped the way Homs has gone. You know, yes, there's an unbelievable message and mission behind it at its core, but truthfully, it's always been about the clothes for me. The message was my life. It was what I was living. I didn't have to like cultivate that, but I had to cultivate the clothing, which is why I manufactured in Pakistan, in Hong Kong. I've tried everything around the U.S. because I want to find the best for people. And so that's what always pushes me forward, and I'm really excited. So shout out to Amazon. We're potentially partnering with them coming up, which I'm super excited about. I finally get to share, great news about Homs. I feel like it's been 4 years since it was like up and coming. It's just been such a grind and such a really everyday pursuit without seeing progress every day, which can sometimes, as you know, be like the hardest, when you're playing football and you're not playing, but you're still working as hard as anyone else that's playing. It's like you really step back and you're like, golly, is this worth it? Am I,
Those are some dark times.
A lot of stuff comes through the mind. And so, to have people like you, people like Isaac, people like Miles, who I've cultivated all around and with, I can't tell you how helpful it is for me to have someone like you who's like very unique and individual and 100% authentic to yourself. For me to make clothes for you is very easy. It's a very simple process. It flows right out of you, pause to me, for me to like throw it on the clothes.
Yeah.
And that's where it, like, you're no longer designing clothes, you're just like interacting with someone. Because I can make something and know you're gonna love it more than anything else you got. And I'm like, I got the hardest shit. Like, from a brand perspective, I've always wanted to cultivate that feeling with my closest friends rather than making $1 trillion and being bigger than Nike. If we can pair the two together, that would be great. That requires bringing more people in and delegating roles, because for me, it can never be anything other than what I just explained. That knowing my friends will always have the hardest shit on as long as they're friends with me.
Yeah. And that's realistically the hardest shit anybody who makes clothes can do.
Yeah.
Just make extremely tough clothes and then just give it to the homies. And then every time the homies are out, they're like, damn, man, where'd you get those clothes from? They're like, it's that Ham's exclusive 101, baby.
These are not for you.
So, I mean, tell me a little bit about how, obviously you dabbled in psychedelics, and you didn't do psychedelics before you made Hams or afterwards? Was when you really started
Before.
Okay.
Yeah, I had done psilocybin mushrooms a handful of times before I started.
Okay. So then, tell me, like, just a little bit about how shrooms and psychedelics has changed your perspective on the business side of things for that, in terms of being a creative, if it's helped you create things better. And then I'll ask you another question about, or the second question to that question is just about not just being creative towards life or creative towards Hams and like your clothing brand. How has it shaped your creativity and perspective in life as well, past the clothing?
Psilocybin has been potentially the most influential external source of consciousness and enlightenment in my life. It has made me laugh the hardest I've ever laughed, and it's made me cry the hardest tears I've ever felt leave my eyes. Sometimes 5 minutes apart from each other.
Sometimes at the same time, you can't tell if you're crying tears of joy or
I've had people staring at me with tears running down their face. I've had so many different beautiful experiences that have only brought me closer to and more in touch with nature and the people around me, and the overarching source and worldwide consciousness, planetary consciousness, the one feeling, the flow of life and everything within it. Those experiences happen for me on psilocybin. And I think you can really break it down. Macklemore breaks it down pretty well in his music to just becoming present. I can go off the deep end from the spiritual standpoint, but from the logical standpoint, I can also give you clarity on psilocybin as being like this instant present creator or instant presence creator. It sticks you right in the present moment. And if you're ready for that, it's the best time ever. If you're not ready to be present because you've been avoiding,
you get consumed by the thoughts that you've previously had before you did the shrooms. Because that's like, shrooms either makes you like live in the moment where your feet are at, and like you forget everything in the entire world even exists except for just the 10 square feet that you're standing in, and or it makes you think about your past life, your future, what you want to do with life. Who do you like? You start asking questions about yourself, like, who am I? Like, what is this? And once you can like figure out like why you need to stop focusing on the future so much and forgetting about the past so that you can be present, is like like you said, that's like the best thing it gives you.
Yeah.
Because it gives you the opportunity to dissect the things that, while you're not on shrooms, that are making you not present and like grateful for just being here where you're at. It like gives you the opportunity to pinpoint like why that is, that you can't just be like a not have anxiety about the future, or not be tripping about like a heartbreak from the past, and just overall just healing. And it's a different journey every time. Like you can take shrooms 1,000 times, and all 1,000 times it will be different.
You'll never know how it's gonna hit you.
You'll never know how it's gonna go, what adventure it's gonna take you down, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're a big bookworm.
Yeah.
What kind of mentality or things that you've taken from doing? Because out of all the people that I know, he's realistically like, I felt like I've dove deep into like my own mind and psyche of like how I am and why I think the way I think, and just in general everything. But I've only done that through psychedelics and through shrooms, and just sitting there thinking in my own mind and not really having outside sources of information that kind of can help you dissect your own mind better, or dissect your own thoughts, or just the way you feel and everything about yourself a little better. And this guy's done all the research that you could possibly do on how to be literally the greatest, to control your mind at an great just like extent. And like tell us like some of your best lessons and things that you use on a daily basis that you take forward with you from like just books and things that you've learned.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately, how I want to like explain and express how I've cultivated the knowledge I have, because I see my dad attain knowledge and thoughts in a very lightning speed. He reads a lot of books, he consumes a lot of news, he gets so much external, and I've seen the conversations that he creates from it and how he talks about things. And for me, I was going, okay, I want to learn from the best, and I want to leave the worst aspects of it, as any child should do with their parent. If you're always focused on growing and motivating yourself to be better, I was like, okay, I need to attain knowledge at the same clip that he does, but I need it all to be maximum resourcefulness for the world. Not just for me, not like what's entertaining for me, because I think you do have to be selfless with what you put in your mind, because you need to be considering other people and how you want to impact the world, and that's always like assuming you care for other people. And so that's why people listen to news. If you think about it, at the core root of it, you're caring about people, because what is the news? It's what's going on in the world.
Yeah, just educating the people.
So I go, okay, well, first of all, I don't listen to any news ever. If you ask me about anything political or what's going on in the world, I couldn't tell you a single thing. And yes, I choose to be that way because I think it maximizes my potential to attain knowledge that's purposeful for the world from what I do, what I create. I have to do things from such an individual standpoint. Anything that comes in adds layers to something I don't need any layers to be added to. So that was early on, I felt that way, and I started to grow in reading books, in journaling, and all that stuff, and I realized it's this puzzle. It's this beautiful puzzle. It's an internal puzzle, is how I imagine it. If you think of, you can make it, like maybe 4 bricks to your leg or 10,000 bricks. How intricate you want to make it is up to you. But we're this puzzle inside of us, and our whole lives are, which is interesting, more or less we come out full. But as we go through life, people start pulling the pieces out and leaving them on the side.
And then putting their
own
back
pieces.
on you.
Yep. So then, that's pretty cool. So then, not only do you have to find your other pieces and feel called to things, because your pieces are out there and you know that you want them, they'll always return. You have to get their pieces off of you, which isn't always as easy as it seems. So I think my quest for knowledge, my reading of books, in college I've read like a madman. I haven't read much. I only read The Alchemist like every 2 or 3 months now. It's like my one book. I love it. it inspires me more and more each time I read it. New passages pop out to me, but I haven't really gone into it much since then. Back in college, it was all geared towards how can I be the best? How can I be the best human, period? And my grandpa instilled that in me, Coach Pete, my dad. You gotta listen to the old heads here and there.
Yeah.
And they're always talking about reading and how good it is. And so I was like, okay, it has to be good. I can't just be the guy that's like, I don't read. But I want to read stuff that's important to the world. Because anytime I'm talking to someone or like sharing something, I want everyone to be engaged with it. I've been so sick of being fucking talked at my whole life and everyone telling me what I need to do from their perspective. They don't even consider me or the person that I am or the people that are around me. And if I can recognize that we're all so much different and we're like, I know how to motivate my friends, and then someone's telling us all what to do and not considering any of that, if I can see that scenario without them understanding that's like not dope as fuck, nah, bro. So my mind, I try to fill with things that other people will care about, that I care about, that I enjoy, like are driving me. I was telling someone this morning, golf, clothes, and love are the only things I care about. If it's not about those three things, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've only read The Alchemist, is because if you break it down to those three things, it's hard to, because no one else is coming from perspectives like that, more or less.
Yeah.
So then you realize there's this beautiful transition of needing to acquire and then to just flowing it out back in your own way. Like, I don't need inspiration. I unfollowed Machine Gun Kelly, G-Eazy. These were these people that like I thought of as cool.
Yeah.
Images they're representing to the public, they're different, they're dapper, they're, you know, pop rock stars. Like, that's dope to me.
Yeah.
I didn't
one of one different, like,
yes,
people.
it's inspiring to see someone like being 100% themselves.
Yeah.
And so they gave me the confidence, you know, mimicking it a little bit, and then like making it my own, and then being like, I don't even do I have, you know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm done with that. And so now I feel like I'm finally at a place where I'm only emitting. I'm not taking anything in other than the lives of those around me. Because news doesn't affect me, but your news affects me because I care about you, I love you. So what's going on in your life, that's what I want to have space for.
Yeah.
I have this cup filled of my own, and then I have this empty cup that I allow everyone else to pour into. And I love having it as empty as possible so I can like be there for you in what capacity you need. Because if it's too filled and you're pouring me in, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like, cool, you know, I'm not there for you. Whereas if I have like nothing and I can be yours, I'm like, tell me what you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you need me to, like you said, what is it? Solutions or support?
Yeah, solution. Like, if someone's going through something, you gotta ask them, like, do you want solutions or do you want support? Because like you said earlier, your father just giving you the support was the solution.
Yep.
And like most parents are always given solutions. Like, I know in my household, like anytime I had a problem, it was straight solutions.
Only solution.
Could have had the worst day of all time in the entire planet of everybody on earth. And I just want somebody to just tell it to, but I can't, because I'm just gonna hear solutions. And that shit fucks you up sometimes. But
it does.
only when you're like at an age or at a point in time where you, like, that solution or support that you're looking for means the entire world, and you don't have the power within yourself to give yourself your own solutions and your own support. So like, until you get to that point, then like it's tough. But like now, if like anybody gives me a solution or whatever it is, like, I'm just grateful to like have somebody to talk to and tell it to. And yeah, that's a cool way to put everything, is your cup's always full and it's only your cup that you care about because that's what you want to do. And then having your cup empty for people that you care about because the people you care about, you also care about what they care about.
Yep.
And in The Alchemist, he's going to get all the jewels for his girl, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's clowning.
And I think another fun thing I love about the 2 cups metaphor is I've got my 100% because I want to operate at 100%.
Yeah.
I want to be, Kevin Carroll called it a full life.
Yep.
You're shout out to Kevin Carroll, coolest person of all time.
Yeah, I got to get him on here.
So you have 100%, and then I got 0%. So when you pour some in, I can see what I like about it, and maybe I go, okay, yeah, I like that. Bam, pour out whatever percent to make room for that. And then I turn what you gave me, like I'm saying with MGK and G-Eazy.
Yeah.
I'm filling it up, and then I'm realizing what I want from it to make my own.
Yeah, like you took the inspiration from them that you needed, and like translated it in a way that you can translate it into yourself, but also make it something of your own because it's not the same. It's just inspired.
And then here's the beautiful thing about the advancement of generations and evolution of human society. I'm taking musical influence. I've got Juice and Mac. I've got Michael Vick and Michael Jordan. I'm taking all these different influences and turning it into golf. That's what I'm turning it into hoodies.
Yeah.
And so that's when you have this intersection. That's what creates new eras of trends and fashion and living and growth as a human race. Is you're taking all your favorite things of what everyone's doing, turning it to your own and sharing it back. And then it's just this like cycle of everyone being authentic and the world being a better place because of it. Whether it's a talk about mental health or a talk about which Rolex you like most or which Porsche you want next or you know what organization you want to donate to that supports people in your area. As long as it's coming from an authentic place, that's how we make change. It has no, you know what I mean? So that's going all the way back to the start of what have I chosen to read, what have I done to, you know, attain knowledge. It's understand where I place myself in the world and understanding how everyone else places them. Not how I see them placed, but how they place themselves. Because that allows for the most fluidity of kind of growth and passions to be explored.
Yeah. In terms of mental health, I touched on it a little bit, and what, as somebody who's like dealt with like the mental health demons, what are some of the things that you did to help? Obviously you created Homs and you have like outlets like golf and other things, but in a sense, like mental talk wise, what do you do to like help yourself now that you've acquired all this information about yourself and how to handle things? What are your steps going forward now when you're having a bad day or having a tough mental episode?
Bro, fucking rejoice and give grateful thanks to whatever powers are at be, because I've been so happy and so motivated and full of love every day. I'm like, please, I need some sad vibes. I miss them because they turn me into the monster that I am in the best ways. Because at times it was the worst. It was in the worst ways how it affected me and how the sadness took control of me. But once I was no longer scared of it and I welcomed it and I understood it, I realized I had complete control over it.
You can gain like good energy from bad energy.
Yes. And so I crave it just as much. Happy shit, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Nice day out, you know, maybe you're dancing, whatever you're doing, play some happy shit. But the majority of my time, throughout my day, sad. I want to be sad. I love maybe it's because I'm from Seattle, I don't even know, but
just the gloomy vibe, sad guy.
Yeah, I love it. We created grunge, so you know all that stuff's coming from my inspiration from the city I was born and raised in. I spoke to a UW class a couple months ago, and just about Homs, mental health, mental illness. And a girl came up to me afterwards and asked me, she was like, can I ask you a personal question? I was like, of course, shoot. And she said, do you feel like you have conquered your depression? And at first I wanted to be like, well, it's not something you conquer. But then I was like, I do have it in lock and understand it to the fullest. Yeah. And I've been depressed recently when I was in Houston. and I understood it. So even though my physical body was depressed, which I think you have to understand the difference between mind, body, spirit to understand a lot of the mental health and mental illnesses. I knew my physical body was depressed. It hated the routine that it was in. It wasn't healthy, regardless of how I was ready to be the #1 golfer in the world. So that doesn't change my athleticism. So I was working out at my Houston workouts for the football team with the mindset notion of I need to be the best golfer in the world. So I was taking the inspiration from being a football player and putting it towards golf.
Yeah.
So I know how to get my mind where it needs to be. The physical body is what kills people. A lot of my friends that jumped into corporate, it's their physical body that just starts being like, dude, I need more than this. So I told her, I have conquered it. Like, I know exactly what it means. I know exactly what it does to me, and I know exactly how to finish it off.
Conquer it, or you're just accepting of the feelings of sadness and depression?
Accepting.
Because, like, for me, I feel like life is all about the highs and lows. It's a roller coaster. You're riding the waves, and like a lot of the times people get fucked up is because I feel like growing up we're sold like a fake like version of the world where we're supposed to be happy all the time. Everything's supposed to be sunshine and rainbows, and it's not like that. And people get older and older, and they still think they're supposed to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
And like you said, the sad boy vibes. If I'm feeling sad, like it's gloomy out today, go throw on some sad albums, playlist, and I'll just go smoke a J and go for a drive and feel just sad. And then it is what it is. Like, I know that's just how I'm feeling right now, and I can't do anything like really about it except for feel what I'm supposed to feel, and then just move on once the feeling just starts to go away.
Yeah.
But it's tough because there's just, back in the day, if I was feeling sad or I needed substances, I needed painkillers, I needed to smoke, I needed to do like anything to like try and numb that feeling. Because like feeling that didn't feel correct. It didn't feel like I was supposed to be feeling that. But now I know I'm supposed to be feeling that. It's a human experience. It's just a
spectrum of emotions.
It's just exactly. And it's just a beautiful life. And I mean, anytime I'm really feeling down, honestly, I just say 3 things I'm grateful for. I don't believe in, like, I'm not a religious person. I believe that there's a higher power and that there is a God. I don't know from what fucking religion he's from, though. It could be any of them, all of them. They're all the same. But I always thank God for the power, for blessing me with the power to always continue to keep going and never stop. And then I give thanks for my friends, my family, and then one thing that maybe I've acquired through hard work, and that I'm grateful to be enjoying my dirt bike or riding my bike, and that I still have the opportunity to do stuff like that. And maybe you're down in such a low place, like you can't even think of things to be grateful for. And it's tough because I've been there before, but then at that moment you really have to think about a worldwide perspective and think about where you're at in the world at this exact moment. And your plan or whatever you've been wanting to do is not going according to plan. But if you look at things from like a broader perspective on that, we're literally a tiny fucking pebble floating through the universe in infinite numbers of infinite realities and planets out there. And you're sitting here, I'm like, damn, I'm sad on this little fucking rock. Like I got a roof over my head, I got food to eat in a little bit, I got homies to kick it with. It doesn't matter how low of a place you are at, you could lose literally everything. There's still always one thing or something to be grateful for. And if you can't find anything, just try and be grateful that you're just breathing, you're alive, that you have the opportunity to change where you're at that exact moment into whatever you possibly imagine. If you could just keep telling yourself that you can do it, and that you can do what you want to do, and that you can get there. It's just about repeating the cycles of telling yourself good things instead of dwelling on the bad things and continuing the negative self-talk. And I just hope that I've always my 11/11 wishes now are I wish for love, peace, and prosperity for everybody, and for everyone to continue to find ways to love themselves and become who they want to be. And that's because that's always what I've always wished for myself. So like I always wish that for other people at all times now. And in any way that I can inspire that or help that is like my life goal. I know that's his too. And yeah, just been an awesome conversation. I'm glad we got to have this convo, because he's realistically one of the guys that kind of inspired me to do this and be making podcasts and sitting down and talking and just getting vulnerable. One of the first dudes ever, like people in my life to ever see me cry or see me in a place where I didn't want anybody else to see me. So it's cool to bounce things off each other and learn and just have this guy as my friend. And I'm glad that you guys got to be here and witness this and just be along on this journey with us. And there'll be more episodes to come. I'll get back on this grind of podcast vibes and just talking with y'all. And I'm excited for the future. And thank you for coming out here.
Thanks, brother.
Being on this.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Anytime.